It is Sunday, the 4th of September, 2016. I'm in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. And just put down this slogan saying Unitarian Universalists misuse blasphemy law to cover up rape. There wasn't quite enough room left to put pedophilia and rape, so I just limited it to rape. But they do, in fact, hire Stikeman Elliott barristers and solicitors, litigation lawyers, to have me served with arrogant and aggressive cease and desist demand letters that falsely accuse me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel in what can be properly described as Bill Cosby-style legal bullying that seeks to cover up and hide such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers, to quote two choice phrases from the cease and desist demand letters they had me served with. So that's so the kid's asking Daddy, what does the sign say? And I'm not sure if they're church attendees or church goers. It looks like the young lady's going in, but no, it looks like the little family there walked by. So anyhow, we see someone coming out here to survey the area. And we got a fair bit of pedestrian traffic this morning. So, got a little chat going on here. In the past, the young lady in the middle has come out and erased my chalk slogans, one of them, or even two of them. And she's basically a knowing and willful participant in Unitarian Universalist cover-up and denial of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, but also cover-up and denial of the fact that Unitarian Universalist leaders go to extreme lengths to cover up and deny pedophilia and rape and other clergy sexual misconduct committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers. And also, oh, that's interesting, so they're getting the hose out. They're getting the hose out, so it looks like they're planning to, well, they might be watering the plants, but as a rule, the way that they erase my chalk slogans is by hosing them down with water, which is one of the reasons why I put them a little bit out of range of the hose today. We'll see if the hose can make it over here to this slogan. Might be a bit difficult. And we'll also see if the hose can make it over to the slogan at the other end there. You know, I don't mind if they do erase these slogans, because it's always a pleasure to film them actively trying to cover up and hide and cover up and deny clergy abuse. Because, you know, when Montreal Unitarians come out of their church and they erase chalk slogans like this one, they are participants in the cover-up and denial of clergy abuse committed by Unitarians and Universalists, Unitarian Universalists. So they're involved in the problem of clergy abuse cover-up and denial. So what's interesting too is the woman there in the black tank top or whatever, that's the church's pianist, musical director and so on, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, they're pulling out the hose here, and we'll see. Oh yes, they're making their way towards my slogan here. This should be interesting. Oh well, this is hilarious. Check out the wayside pulpit. It says le chemin que nous le chemin que nous parcourons revêt autant d'importance que la destination que nous cherchons à atteindre. Il n'y a pas de raccourci lorsqu'il s'agit de vérité. What? Sure, go ahead, you can walk through. You'll be famous on YouTube, as this young lady will. So this young lady is erasing a chalk slogan that said Unitarians, Universalists misuse blasphemy law to cover up rape. So this young lady is in fact helping Unitarian Universalists to cover up and hide the fact that they A, have a certain number of pedophiles and rapists in their religious community, and B, go to extreme lengths to cover up and hide pedophilia and rape. And this is one of the lengths that they go to cover up and hide pedophilia and rape. So this young lady is aiding and abetting indirectly the pedophiles and rapists. She is basically hiding the fact that they even exist. So we got the music director. We've got this young lady whose identity I don't know. And you know, lady's maybe not the best word to describe her. We got this fellow on the left here, longtime member of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, helping them put the hose away. And this cyclist who wasn't really involved in the process herself. It's a good thing you weren't involved in the actual process, because they're cover-up and hiding clergy sex abuse.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So it's good to stay out of it. It's even better to speak out against it. Right now you're neutral, that means you're on the side of the oppressor. To borrow a phrase from Desmond Tutu. So, yes, we don't quite know who this young lady is. Okay, I got some focusing problems here. So, I didn't quite hear exactly what was said, but here are 4 members of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. 2 at least, 3 actually at least, participated in this erasure of my chalk slogan. I mean, this is censorship. This is, you know, I have every right to write a chalk slogan accusing Unitarian Universalists of misusing Canada's blasphemy law to cover up and hide such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers, such as Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell, to name but one. And when they come out on the sidewalk and erase this slogan, this is, you know, it's basically the same as, you know, book burning. You know, it's trying to hide the truth. The truth. What I wrote is an entirely truthful statement that's supported by an abundance of evidence, and they're trying to hide the truth, and they're trying to specifically hide the truth that, you know, A, there are pedophiles and rapists within the Unitarian Universalist religious community, and B, that the Unitarian Universalist religious community, as represented by the Unitarian Universalist Association, actually goes to extreme lengths to cover up and hide all forms of clergy sexual abuse, even non-sexual clergy abuse. But, you know, in my case, they falsely accused me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel in Bill Cosby-style legal bullying that was intended to intimidate me into removing blog posts from the Emerson Avenger blog that tell the very readily verifiable truth about such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell and also Richard Buell, who, by the way, to the best of my knowledge, wasn't actually a Unitarian Universalist minister. He was a layperson. But these are the 2 cases that I blogged about in some detail. There's also a Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teacher, also known as a religious educator, Stephen Craig Bullite, who was convicted of raping preteen and teenage boys. And there are others, you know, there are others whose names aren't that easy to necessarily determine because the church is so secretive about it. You know, it's known that there are other cases, but, you know, exactly which church it took place in and exactly which minister is responsible is hard to determine because of the secretive nature of the Unitarian Universalist so-called church. But there, you know, for instance, the Unitarian Universalist Church of, I believe, Cincinnati had a quite serious problem with a pedophile priest. Well, I shouldn't say priest because they're not really called priests in Unitarian Universalist. They're a Unitarian Universalist minister. So it's basically readily known that the Unitarian Universalist Church of Cincinnati had a quite serious problem with a minister who sexually abused quite a number of children, and who I believe was charged, tried, and convicted of sexual abuse of children. But his name isn't known because it's not out there publicly known. I mean, it's probably known, I mean, it's known, I'm sure, to a certain number of Unitarian Universalists, But in terms of publicly available information, his name actually isn't given, although the fact that, you know, a minister of the Cincinnati church did in fact sexually abuse children is known. So that's it. It's sometimes hard to know all the details. It's actually very often hard to know all the details. Yeah, wow, eh?
Somebody's really got a hard-on against the Unitarians.
A hard-on? You want to use that term in terms of clergy sex abuse, sir?
Is that what this is about?
It's about...
What's the issue here?
Oh, there's a variety of issues. One is the clergy sex abuse itself.
Okay,
Two is the cover-up.
What is that issue, the clergy sex abuse?
Well, there's quite a lot of clergy sex abuse committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers. Now, I'm talking about the whole community. I'm not talking about just this church. I'm talking about...
Really?
Yes.
Because we're Unitarian Universalists from Florida, and there's
Keep going.
There's no evidence of that.
There's no evidence of any in Florida, or there's no evidence of any in the Unitarian Universalist church.
What is your position on this?
I'm the protester.
You're the protester, okay.
Yes.
And where has this happened?
It has happened in at least 400 Unitarian Universalist churches.
What's your evidence behind that? What's their basis for saying that?
A certain number of Unitarian Universalist ministers started counting one day how many churches had been affected by clergy sexual misconduct. They stopped counting when they reached 400. My evidence comes from a case. It's actually the Reston, Virginia Unitarian Universalist Church, which had a clergy sexual misconduct problem.
Okay.
And in dealing with that problem, they actually put some stuff out on the internet.
Okay.
And part of what they put out on the internet was a statement made by one of their members which tells this story about how interim ministers who fill in after a minister resigns.
We know that.
Yeah, this is all. Well, do you know that? Did you know that?
What is your faith?
I used to be a member of this church. No, I'm not. No, it's atheists are accusing me of blasphemy to hide clergy abuse. It's hilarious.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. So you know what, Florida, I know of. I've heard of some cases in Florida. No, but it's documented in terms of the UUA has been covering this up for years, so it's not surprising you don't know about it because they've been keeping it hidden. They go to extreme lengths to hide it. They have victims sign confidentiality agreements. They engage in legal bullying.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like the Catholic Church.
It does sound like the Catholic Church.
Not only in America, but the Catholic Church.
The Buddhists have this issue too.
Yeah.
Every religious community at some point has it. Your church has it too. Your church has it too, unfortunately.
There is a person of power. There is always a potential for abuse.
Yeah. Well, here, let's talk about a person of power. Reverend Dr. Peter Morales, president of the Unitarian Universalist Association. In order to shut me up, because I have a blog about this stuff too.
Got it.
The UUA. Oh, and let's not forget Kathleen K. Montgomery, former executive vice president. She's involved in decades worth of cover-up. Okay. Anyway, they hired a Canadian law firm to accuse me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel to try to get me to remove blog posts about documented cases of pedophilia and rape.
Okay, the document. Yeah, I'd
but what I'm saying is, it's not just the clergy abuse problem. You got a cover-up problem.
Well,
just like the Catholic. Well, no, you did. Well, now you know. Before you were saying you didn't know anything. You said it didn't even exist like 5 minutes ago.
No, I didn't say it didn't exist. I said I'm not aware of it of our church down in Florida, and you said you.
I asked if you're talking about the whole church, and you basically came back and indicated you were talking about the whole religion.
Yeah, I'm not aware of it.
Anyway,
in our area, maybe it is up here.
What I'm saying. I'm not accusing this church specifically of sexual misconduct. Right. I will accuse them of non-sexual. That's another issue altogether. Non-sexual. Verbal abuse, psychological abuse, slander, libel, taking congruence money, and so on.
You're making accusations that have no basis of it. Is that not slander and libel?
I'm very careful not to make accusations that don't have a basis.
All right.
Good day, sir. Good time. Look this up. Search Unitarian blasphemous libel. Because the lawyer actually said, your unfounded and vicious allegations to the effect that ministers of the association engage in such despicable crimes, pedophilia and rape, are defamatory, and they're so defamatory that they constitute the criminal act of blasphemous libel. I said, okay, show me where these unfounded blog posts are.
How long has this been an issue for you? How long?
The blasphemous libel goes back to... I've been about 20 years now, sir.
Taking up this
1998, yeah.
So you remember this church, or you're no longer?
I'm no longer. They kicked me out for protesting against problems. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Nice talking to you. Thanks for your free and responsible search for the truth and meaning of my protest. Appreciate it. Thank you. No, but you're actually living it. Most of the Unitarians I know don't bother. Most of the Unitarians I know They just erased my slogan. Does that look like a free and responsible search for truth and meaning? No, they erased my slogan. It tells the truth. That's a cover-up right here, sir. So that was an interesting conversation. A couple of Unitarian Universalists from Florida, and I have it all recorded. And they actually did engage in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning of my protest. And they did, in fact, compare the Unitarian Universalist Association's cover-up to the Roman Catholic Church. And indeed, there's lots of points for comparison in principle. In terms of what the Roman Catholic Church did and probably still does to some extent to cover up and hide clergy sex abuse, well, the Unitarian Universalist Church does a lot of the same stuff. But I'm pretty sure the Roman Catholic Church never actually accused someone of blaspheming against the Roman Catholic Church for blogging about Roman Catholic pedophiles and rapists. That's, I think, unique to the Unitarian Universalist religious community, and that's what we call Unitarian Universalist perversion of justice. And I have to say, it's always amusing to know that atheist Unitarian Universalists, like UUA President Reverend Dr. Peter Morales and former UUA Executive Vice President Kathleen K. Montgomery, are accusing me of blasphemous libel in legal bullying that's intended to cover up and hide such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers, one of whom is Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell of the Northborough and Westborough congregations in Massachusetts, but he is by no means the only Unitarian Universalist minister who has committed pedophilia and or rape. And that's it for now. We got a young fellow just took a photo of my picket sign. He's going in. So we're off to a good start for Labor Day weekend protest. I actually didn't protest much in the summer because I had other things to do with my time, but this is sort of my pre-beginning of the main church here protest, my initial protest, as it were, of the